Okay, food tracking. Should you do it? Is it good for you? Do people need to track their food? Basically it depends on your goals. So if you're looking to lose weight and that you feel like your nutrition is a bit of a sticking point. So like you're training and you're trying to eat healthily, and you're not losing any weight, I would highly recommend to start by tracking your caloric intake by using one of these food tracking apps. In the past, I've used MyFitnessPal. I know there's a bunch of different ones out there. I prefer MyFitnessPal because I think the database of food is quite extensive, and it gives you a good breakdown in terms of when you input your food. You can see how many calories it contains, the protein, carbohydrates and fats, even like the micronutrients as well, so like how much calcium and iron and stuff's in your food. In a short answer, should you track your food? Short term, yes. Long term, no. I think if you are completely new to let's say you've just started like a weight loss journey and you want to see, you're on a caloric restricted diet, I think it's a good idea to start tracking your food so that you can see how many calories are actually in the foods that you're consuming. Because I've worked with a few clients before where they'll cook a meal and then they'll put different oils or sauces or toppings on things, and then when I get them to actually input that into the database, and then I go, Jesus, I had no idea this meal that I was making was so high in calories. So I think it's a good tool for educating you on understanding what's in your food, specifically from like a calorie standpoint. But I don't think it's something that you should be doing long term. I think you should start by tracking your food, understand what's in the food that you're eating and understanding how many calories are in it, but taking that education through your life in terms of you shouldn't need to rely on it. So perhaps you should get to that point where most people probably eat the same breakfast most mornings, or they roughly sort of take the same lunch to work with them. But if you can start tracking that food and then understanding how many calories are in that meal, you don't need to keep inputting it into your app database all the time. It's just enough to go, right, if I'm trying to consume, let's say 2,000 calories, I know that my breakfast is roughly 450 and then my lunch is about 500, so that you've done it enough times so that you know how many calories are in that meal. If you feel like your nutrition is a sticking point, or you're definitely looking to lose weight, being on a specific calorie amount, hopefully in a caloric deficit. So usually with my clients, I'll work out what basically work out what their calorie amount should be for the day, and then try and just make sure that they're slightly under that, enough that they sort of feel satisfied and full by their food, but they're not screaming hungry, that they're in the evening potentially looking to gorge on certain foods. So it's a good tool to get you educated on your food, but I don't think it's something that you should do long term. You don't want to be into your 70s and 80s and still tracking your food on your app. Hopefully you should have built up enough education on calories and food, in a period of time, let's say 6 months or a year or something, that it's not a long-term solution. So should you track your food? Yes, in the start, or perhaps maybe you could do it again if you've got a holiday coming up, and then let's say you've sort of fallen off the wagon a little bit and you go, oh right, I've got 6 weeks to lose a bit of weight, let's get back into the calorie tracking, because realistically sometimes you can't do it all the time, every meal. Sometimes you go out for birthdays and go out for drinks and stuff. So yeah, should you track your food? Yes, if you're looking for something specific to do with your weight loss, but it's not, I wouldn't call it a long-term solution. It's there to educate you on your food and your calories.